Hello, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do a new what if. It's going to be what if Deku was an immortal demon fairy. First off, Deku's mother, Inko Midoriya, is going to be a fairy. And his father is going to be a demon. Deku is going to have all of the power of King, Meliodas, and Ban. So he's going to be OP. So first off, the way that Inko and Hisashi got to the My Hero Academia world and meet each other was that in the Seven Deadly Sins world, something happened with a spell a long time ago when the war between the demons and the goddess happened. So it's before that. What happened was that two fairies and a demon were transported to another world during an accident with magic, and they were transported with the Fountain of Youth that in the anime Ellen was guarding. So yeah, well, not exactly the same. Let's just say that there were two, and that one of the two was transported with one of the fairies. That fairy decided to keep the water safe no matter where it was. So in that world, she left and found a forest where on top of a tree, near a tree, she decided to put the water down with a seed she had from the Great Fairy Tree. So that's sprouted there. So there is a Fairy King forest in the My Hero Academia world, but nobody really goes there because for some reason there are plants that are practically impervious to fire. Every time someone tried to freeze the plants to pass, there are monsters that attack. All they think is that some kind of plant got a quirk and just kind of grew out of control, but they see that it doesn't go out of a certain parameter, so they just kind of placed signs all around it to not go in. So she's kept safe by everyone, literally, because no one wants to go in there, since the plants move and literally kills anyone that enters, no matter what it is. Okay, so for the second fairy, she'll look like that. That's Inko. How she'll look, and well, yeah, basically she's just a normal fairy. She can fly. She can, well, in the Seven Deadly Sins, fairy can read minds, but only what you're thinking in that moment. Harley Quinn doesn't really show it, so I'm not going to give it to Deku. Just because he's already going to be OP anyway. So yeah, that's going to be how Inko looks. When she got transported, all she was thinking about was if she could survive. So she started hanging around human cities, she read their mind, she learned how they speak. Well, yeah. And she started living her life there. She gave her quirk. She found out they had quirk, which made it easier for her to just go and say, yeah, I've never been registered. My quirk name is Fairy. So, yeah. Basically, she can live extremely long. She will never change that look except if she decides to transform into another look, which, if I remember correctly, every fairy have, but only to a look that can make them look like adults. So basically, Deku's going to be able to do it too. She tells that she can fly and control some plants. So they mark that. Then she started going to find a job because yeah. Then found a place to live, and yeah. So now with Deku's father. He was the demon that got transported with Inko and the other fairy. Basically what he did was look around and just kind of went on a little rampage for a while. Because they all got transported in the same continent, but not in the same place exactly. So he was kind of just like in the middle of nowhere without any house around, and he was kind of going on a rampage because, well, he was in the middle of something and just kind of suddenly arrived there. So he thought someone was playing a trick on him. So let's say a hero that could fly passed near that and just saw someone using black flames and black wings to kind of destroy something, saying, "Where the hell are you hiding? I know you're playing a trick on me." So the hero kind of goes to stop him, a demon, which is extremely powerful. Even some of the weakest human can basically do nothing against them normally. I did say normally, because those that have magic in the Seven Deadly Sins world can actually fight them, but it's still hard for them since, well, literally archers are able to beat a red demon easily at the, well, practically any sort of demon easily before getting Excalibur, and the only types he's not able to are demons that aren't classed as low demon, which the Goose Father is not. So yeah, the hero basically just kind of went to try and stop someone who seems to be kind of lost and just going berserk because something seems to be wrong. For the hero, because of the way the guy was talking, he just seems to have been hit with some type of quirk that made him see things around him. So basically, the hero, I'd say, all he has is like a mixture of two quirks. Like, one of his quirk is wings, which is a mutation, and another quirk that all it lets him do is immobilize someone completely for a certain amount of time. All he needs to do is touch the person, and if he keeps holding to the person onto the person, it will keep on indefinitely. So he just kind of grabs him and brings him to a city where he kind of calmed down after seeing what was happening around him. That's when Inko, let's say he saw him, and she went and asked what was happening. Basically, the hero didn't even hear what he was. Well, they speak the same language, but he was kind of speaking weirdly. So she asked the hero what was happening with him, and he just tells her, well, let's say it's multiple, like, weeks later, since they all got transported at the same time, but he literally was just transported in the middle of nowhere and just kind of stayed around that place. So, they didn't cause that much destruction. It's just that at that point, someone had passed not far from there and literally saw that, so they called the hero. So then she said she knows him, that he kind he kind of got lost a while back. She was asking herself where he was. So the hero let go of him. So yeah, sorry. Like I was saying, he got calmed down by Inko, and they asked them where they come from. Well, where he comes from. They say that she says that just like him, they were living in a forest with just a group of other people, and at some point just something happened and they got separated. They don't know where exactly the forest is, since they had never seen the outside world. A lie she gives just because she kind of has to. So they register his quirk as being demon. So what he can do is make darkness around his body, make it as wings to fly, put it around his arms to punch better. Just activating it boosts his power almost double. It, so it boosts you quite a bit. He's going to pass down to Deku all of those traits, as well as full counter if Deku has a weapon, the capacity to regenerate, the same way that demons do, and the capacity to make black flames, which makes regeneration not possible at an accelerate at a faster rate, like super regen or something. Like, it literally left a mark well, a scar on Ban, which is an immortal, so if his head would have been chopped off, he would have died, pretty much. So basically, they started living together. After a while, they actually got married for how this world works, and they had a kid. That kid was... Normally fairies aren't born with wings and only gets them later, but he was born with wings that had a weird color to them, since compared to the wings of a fairy in the Seven Deadly Sins show, his were kind of like purplish, blackish, and extremely small. Like, wait a sec. So Deku's wings are going to be about that size, like always in the series. For now they're smaller than that because, well, he's a kid, well, a baby, but at the age of 14 he will look like, just like a fairy, he'll look young, since they look about that age, 14, always, after a while, well, sometime less. No, it's about 12 or 13 that they look like when you count it in human age. So yeah, he's going to look about the same as in the anime, except that he's going to have those small wings on his back. So yeah, when he was born, for a while, well, he had the normal capacity of both fairy and demons, but at some point during the childhood, around age like 8, I would say, no, 4, when Bakugo, well, since Deku had his quirk since birth, for what this world thinks, Bakugo didn't actually bully him. Well, he didn't even think he could, since he had a lot of powers. He could fly, if there was water around, he could make it float, he could control plants, he didn't have that ability yet, but later he's going to be able to shapeshift like his mom. He was able to create darkness on him to become stronger, augment the size of his wing with his darkness, and at some point while having a stick, he used full counter for the first time when someone actually accidentally threw his quirk. He did just like his father did, because his father decided to be a hero to kind of win money, since he was powerful and to the line. And he saw his dad do that a lot. All Might would say was still number 1 hero, since Shisaki didn't want to kind of show too much of his powers, for if there were others from their world that were brought here. Unbeknownst to them, there was only one more, and that's it. So, yeah. He had a lot of powers, but at some point, Bakugo was attacking someone, Izuku, since I would say they still kept the same name. Let's say they just kind of made the name up so that they wouldn't have trouble with it. So yeah, he's still called Izuku Midoriya, but this time he doesn't have the nickname Deku since, well, he has quirks and quite powerful ones. But at that time, when that happened, sorry, Deku, without knowing, used the capacity Snatch. Not Snatch, Hunter's Fist, which take the strength of everyone around him. He activated it subconsciously, and everyone kind of felt weak. I'm going to put it out there right now. With his capacity Snatch, Hunter's Fist, and every other things like that, he won't be able to take quirk for a while. No, he's not able to do that. He's OP, and he's going to get even more OP later, so I don't want to do that. So, yeah. After that moment, they started... Hisashi started looking for a place where he could train Izuku for a bit to see what were all his capacities. And after a while, they saw that he had quite a lot more than what they thought. He can make himself look invisible for everyone that is in his perimeter by using zero sight. On camera, he's still there, but for anyone directly present, they can't see him, they can't hear him, and they can't even smell him. So, yeah, he's pretty much capable of being the best ninja if you want to. But his parents taught him to be humble, kind, and he wanted to be a hero. He didn't have the same personality as Bakugo at all, and he wasn't like his counterpart in the anime. He was intelligent, yes, because his mother, Inko, made everything she could to make him learn as much as possible from that world, just like she was doing. So he kind of knows a lot. And I would say at the age of 8, something happened. A villain that had a... Sorry for that pause. A villain that had a capacity to blow up, touch something and make it explode, started attacking somewhere, and Hisashi decided to go and do it. Being a hero and all, he thought he could just kind of send back the attack with his full counter in a different direction. But during the fight, the villain decided to do something that nobody expected, and he touched directly on Hisashi. He touched him in the face, which literally means he's going to die. Yeah. Sorry for that, but I need some drama in this to make him do something. Wait, no, not 8. At 8 it was something else that was supposed to happen. Forget what I just said. That's supposed to happen when he's about 12. At 8, what happened was that I don't remember what it was supposed to do. I can't find it in my notes. Anyway, it wasn't really that important. I think it was the first time he saw that he could actually make a tree grow, not just move or something. So, yeah, don't worry about it. So yeah, at 12, All Might's injury already happened a while back, so Hisachi couldn't help him, he was doing something else. The fight with All for One, and All Might's injury completely happened, so that's not changing. Then when he's 12, a villain attacks with the power to make anything he touch explode, and killed Hisachi. So everyone saw it on the news, in the papers, everything, and everyone who knew Izuku literally saw him fall in despair. So at that point, something happened with someone who told him something rude. He didn't want to make it rude, but he kind of said it rude. Like, if it was All Might, that wouldn't have happened. And that even Endeavor would have done better. Unbeknownst to them, that's actually the only reason that happened is because the only way to fight that guy was by distance, with Hisachi didn't actually get until it was too late. So yeah. And also unbeknownst to them, Hisachi was actually stronger than All Might, so it wouldn't have changed anything that much. Yes, All Might would have been able to punch air and probably push him away, but yeah, that's the problem. So after that happened, Deku literally ran away from home because, let's say, he was just really angry, and when trying to talk to Inko, she was trying to make him calmer by just kind of saying it's alright, they just don't get it, and stuff, but Izuku got angrier at this because she was basically saying that people didn't know his true strength and that it wasn't their fault, when he knows it wasn't their fault that he died, but they still insulted his father, and he thought his mother was just kind of like telling him to calm down, that it was nothing to worry about, and it kind of pissed him off, so he decided to run away. After a while of flying away in a certain direction, since he can fly, so he kind of did that, he arrived to a place a forest, where he decided to just kind of lay low for a bit. So that's the forest where the other fairy decided to place the Fountain of Youth. So monsters and animals with quirk kind of live there, kind of in harmony a bit. There is normal animals also, but less. So while Deku was flying over, he kind of decided to just go and lay low in a tree and just saw that big, massive tree in the middle. So he went there and just wanted to kind of sleep a bit. When he got there, he saw first a cup of water that seems to be overflowing infinitely, and then a girl telling him asking him what he was doing there. Basically, her thinking it was just another human trespassing. She asked him why he came here with all the things saying to not get in the forest and everything. He just said, I'm sorry. I just ran away from home and I was just flying around. He wasn't told that he wasn't a human, since both of his parents didn't want him to kind of tell it anywhere. Then Deku saw her wings to the other fairy. He said, wait, you're like my mom. You have wings. And the fairy's like, your mom? Wait, is she a fairy? Deku's like, what do you mean? Her quirk is called fairy, but she's human? But she's human. Like, my dad has the quirk demon, but he's a human, so what do you mean, fairy? Then she says, what's your mom's name and father's name? He tells her the name of his parents, and she says, wait, those two got transported here also? Which Deku didn't get what she was meaning. Then she said, how are they? And then Deku tells her that Hisashi is dead. He got killed by someone using his quirk. He touched him and he blew up completely, which killed him. But that his mother was at home, probably waiting for him to come back. She read his mind and saw that he was telling the truth and got sad. Then he asked her what she meant when she said they got transported here too. Then she explained to Deku that they come from another world, that his dad was actually a high-ranking demon that was extremely powerful, and that his mother is a friend of hers, a true fairy, just like her. And then Deku asks, so what's that? Pointing to the cup of water, and she says, oh, that that's a fountain of youth. Without it, the forest can't prosper correctly. But if someone drinks it, or drinks from it, he can extend his life, and if he drinks it completely, he can become immortal. Which Izuku asks her, what do you mean become immortal? Isn't it just water or something? Then she says, well, in our world, there's this thing called magic, and it's real. That water is extremely precious because there are only two of it. Two fountains like this. One here and one that's still in the world we came from. At this point, even if it's gone, the forest will stay the same and still be alive. But it would still be better if nothing happened to it. Then she looked at Deku and she said, but I have to keep it safe from other people and I'm starting to get old. Let's just say she's kind of close to dying from old age, because even fairy do that. They just don't die like after 100 years or something. And she said that she was literally on the verge of her death. So she said to Deku, if you want you can drink it. I won't do it, and it's... if I'm not here anymore and that someone comes to take it, there's gonna be a problem with someone immortal running around. I saw that you're trying to become what this world called a hero to protect everyone. So if you have it, you're going to be able to do that. Then Deku asks her if it's really alright, and she tells him yes. Then she asks him, how old is he? When he says 12, she's like, wait, just 12? But you already have your wings, even though they're small. Then he says that he was born with them. Which she then told herself, wait, he might be then the next fairy king. If he is, he needs the spear that comes from the tree. Then she tells him, drink it all while I go take something. So Deku does that, he drinks it completely. So basically, he already is supposed to stop aging at the age of 12, but he'll, no matter what, be immortal now. So, yeah. The only other being that could have been able to kill him now is gone. Anyway, because his father's black flame were the only thing alive that could hurt him for good. And the fairy brought him a bracelet. Izuku asks her what that is, and she says that she thinks he is qualified to be what is called the Fairy King. She asks him to not tell his mom about that, or anyone else in that matters, and that if someone asks where the weapon comes from, to just tell them that it's his quirk. So Deku does accept, Then she explained to him how it works. This weapon is different from the original Festival that King has. It has 13 form. It has the pillow form, the guardian form, the spirit spear form, the pollen garden form, which is a shield that everything that is inside gets healed from pollen that comes from the tree. The fossilization form, the sunflower form. So, okay, I just want to check if I tell every form it has. It's pillow, spirit spear, guardian, fossilization, multiple. It's called luminosity, pollen garden, sunflower. Then we have armor, sword. Wait. No, wait. It's 1 pillow, 2 the spirit spear form, 3 the guardian form, 4 fossilization, 5 bumblebee, not bumblebee, multiple, 6 luminosity, 7 it's pollen garden, 8 it's sunflower, no, luminosity, sunflower, one of the two. 9 it's, what was it again? I have to go check it. Okay, I went and check again, now I'm sure of it. It's spirit spear, guardian, fossilization, sunflower, multiple, luminosity. Then it's pollen garden. Then the 4 that I added were sword, nunchuck, armor, and the last one is called forest. Those are the forms. So basically, for the 8 first, pillow and everything else like that, it's like in the anime. Then there's sword, which is basically like Alibram's sword. It looks exactly the same, which Deku can use or by a distance with his capacity disaster, or by holding it, which basically using it like a normal sword. Nunchuk is basically the same thing as Ban has, the 3-section staff. Armor is, well, literally an armor made of wood that has blade on the forearms. And forest is that, just like sunflower, he sent the spear in the ground, then makes it grow into an entire forest where he can hide and control the entire forest as he wants. After using that one, he can or leave the forest there and just grab his weapon, or retract the entire forest back into the weapon. So basically, If he wants, he can literally place a forest anywhere he wants, and it will stay there for as long as there's water and whatever for it to sustain itself. And then the last form is something that I just decided to add so that he wasn't bringing it everywhere. In the form of a pillow, it's bracelet, which is basically he uses that so that he has it on him at all time. So basically, when people ask why he has a weapon, he would just tell them it's actually a plant that I was able to make it take forms from a forest. Literally, he called it by the name that they gave the forest, the dead forest. No, the forest of death. He said that he found a tree in the middle of it, and that from that tree he made the weapon, which basically he controlled by his will, and it's just kind of made of part of that tree. So basically people are going to count it as part of his quirk, since it's basically just a plant that he kind of shapeshifts. So after that happens, well, Deku leaves and goes back home, which Inko was relieved because she just lost her husband and she thought she was about to lose her child. So she tells him that he can take a break from school, and then Deku tells him that he saw someone that told him to say hi to her. He told Inko the name of the girl, then told Inko was like, wait, you met her? She came here? But where is she? Then Deku tells her that, well, she was keeping a fountain of youth, which she gave to him so that he could drink it, to make sure that no one else would get it, since she said that she was close to dying anyway, since she was, well, extremely old, and that she also gave him the spear, showing her the bracelet, since she didn't want anyone else to be able to have it. He just told a lie in that part, but Inko didn't even try to check if he was lying. She just believed him at that point. So she was happy to know that at least her friend was still doing what she was supposed to do, and that her friend was at least living a good life for all she could do. So yeah. So after a while, he went back to school. The person who said what he said about Hisashi said sorry to Izuku, saying that it was kind of just an impulse because, well, All Might was the number one and he couldn't be beaten. So basically he just said it's okay. He still didn't forgive the person, but anyway, Baku is less of a jerk in this one, because every time he was trying to be one, Deku would place him back in his place and just show him that, no, you're not a big shot. You're just a kid like everyone else. So when that had happened, he basically took defense of Izuku in that moment, since they're basically friends in this one. not bully and kid that wants to be friend. So yeah. After that, Deku trained with every form of the weapon. Basically, in some of the parks in the city, there were suddenly a lot of trees that just grew out of nowhere. And we're staying there. It was Deku testing his forest ability from the weapon. And he also checked how his immortality works. So, yeah. So this is basically the part 0 that explains everything of how his power came to be and how he got everything. So, yeah. That was part 0 of What If Deku was an immortal demon fairy. And yeah, that's basically it. That's it.